Hello everyone, my name is Tabby and welcome back to my channel Keeping Tabs, where today I'm going to be doing the Road So Far book tag that was created by Josh over at Beards and Books. I will leave a link to his video down below. There's 8 questions and it's all about your reading journey so far. So I'm just going to jump right on into it. The first question is, if you could pick a fictional world to live in, what world would it be and why? And I would like to say some kind of fantasy world because I love reading fantasy books, but I don't think that I would survive any fantasy world that I read about, so I'm going to be choosing the world of City of Bones. It's New York. I love living in big cities, and it has a fantastical element to it. It has this whole hidden world, these creatures that live alongside humans that the humans just are unaware of it, and it's only shadow hunters and downworlders who know about this secret world, and I would like to live in that world, knowing about this other secret world, about all of the vampires, the werewolves, everything. I think that would be really fun, so I'm choosing this. And it's safe, like I can still have all my technology, cars, all that stuff, and still have that fantasy element, so yeah. The next question is, what solo book or book series surprised you the most? So this is a first book in a series that I started last year, and it is Leviathan Wakes, which is the first book in The Expanse by James S.A. Corey, and we're having some focusing problems. Woohoo! What would my video be if we didn't have focusing problems? Anyways, this is a science fiction book, and it is the first science fiction book that I ever read, and it's an adult, and I loved it way more than I thought. I've never read a science fiction book that was strictly like science fiction and adult. My friend recommended this book to me. We read it together, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But man, was I surprised. It's amazing, and it has been turned into a TV show, which I haven't started yet. I probably won't start until I read a few more of the books. I have the second one, but I haven't read it yet. Number 3, you can pick one author to meet. Who would it be and why? And I'm obviously choosing George R.R. Martin because there are certain fan theories that I need to know if they're true or not. I need to know. They're bugging me. And I want some of them to be true, and I want some of them to not be true. One of the ones that I want to be true, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, is that the sword Lightbringer is actually the sword Dawn. Like, Dawn is going to be Lightbringer. Everything makes sense in that theory, and if it's not true, I'm gonna be so disappointed you don't even know. So yeah, I would like to just have a little sit down with George and just pick his brain about literally everything. Just everything. I want to know so much more about the Danes. I don't know. Anyways, I picked George. That's the question. That's the answer. Number 4, if you could only ever read one genre of books for the rest of your life, what genre would you choose and why? And I'm just going to choose the umbrella genre of fantasy because it has so much underneath it. There's sci-fi fantasy, YA fantasy, high adult fantasy, urban fantasy. Like, there's just everything. So I'm choosing fantasy. Number 5, what genre do you rarely read but want to read more of? And I'm gonna say like adult thrillers or psychological thrillers because I recently read You by Caroline Kepnes, which I would think is a thriller suspense kind of book like that. I don't know. It was really good, and I want to read more books like that, but I never really reach for them, so I'm gonna try to do more of that in my reading. Next question, what is one of the most intimidating books or book series that you are too nervous to read? And I have 3 series because it's either the series themselves are very long or the books are just thousands of pages. The first series I have is the King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. I have both of the books that are out, but these books are massive and I'm just really intimidated by them. So yeah, the next one I have is Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, which is 14 books long, but I've heard really good things about it, so I'm excited to start it, but it's 14 books long, so that's intimidating. And the third one I have is the Stormlight Archive series. These books are freaking massive. They are huge, each and every one of them. And also the series itself is going to be massive. I think 10, maybe more books, and they're all going to be this size or bigger. Woo! That's intimidating. But you know what? Once upon a time, the Game of Thrones books would have been on this intimidating list, but I'm reading them and they are not as intimidating as I thought. So that makes these books that I just mentioned a little less intimidating because I know that I can do it. Still intimidating though. Still intimidating. Next question. If you could recommend one book or one book series above all others, what would it be? So I have a book and a book series that I would recommend. The first is a series, and even though I've only read the first 2 books, I don't care. I know that the series is going to be great, so I'm going to recommend it. And that is the Red Rising trilogy and beyond. I think it's going to be 6 books, so it's like a series now, but it started as a trilogy. I think you could probably read the 3rd book and just finish after that because it was supposed to be a trilogy, so maybe you can just end it. I don't know. Anyways, it's Red Rising by Pierce Brown. These books are amazing. Of course, I would recommend the Game of Thrones books, but I can understand people being intimidated by that. So that's why I would pick this next, because it is Game of Thrones in space, and it's awesome. And they are short, and I think any fans of Game of Thrones would love this series. It's amazing. Please read them. They're so good. They're so good. And then a standalone book that I would recommend is one of my favorites. It is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and it is a not urban fantasy, how does it go? Magical realism. I think that's the genre. It's magical realism, takes place in like the 20s, 30s-ish, and not 20s, but more the 30s, 40s. Or no, it doesn't even take place. It jumps around in the time, okay? It's confusing. It starts in like the 1800s, and then it goes to like the 20s, the 30s, and then it goes back. It's really cool. It's really well written. The imagery is amazing. The author is so great at painting the scenery, and she makes you feel like you're in the circus experiencing all of those sensations, like the sights, the sounds, the scents. It's really good. I would recommend this book. The last question is, what are your reading plans and booktube plans for the next 6 months? So for reading plans, I would like to finish reading all of the Throne of Glass books before Kingdom of Ash comes out in October, but I feel like that's probably not going to happen. I wanted to, but we will see. I also want to finish Morningstar and Iron Gold before the other book comes out, which is Dark Age. I'm pretty sure that's Dark Age. What else? For booktube, I want to get an editing software because this whole making one video in one go without stopping thing is getting old, okay? It's getting old. I want to do a bookshelf tour, and that requires editing. I want to make reading vlogs, and that requires editing. So I need to get me an editing software. I thought I had my old one back, but I don't. It's just not working out. It's so frustrating. So that is the ultimate plan for booktube, is get myself some editing software so I can really start making the videos that I want to make. Those are all the questions. I will leave the people that I'm going to tag down below because I don't know who I'm going to tag yet. So I will leave that down below and contact them if I tag them. And of course, you can do this video if you want to. It's fun, like all tags are. And I will see you guys in another video soon. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.